Welcome to Policing TV. Each week, we will explore the highlights from our latest videos, diving into topics like AI, technology, drugs, and the people shaping the future of policing. In the first of her series, Rachel Tuffin discussed her journey in policing and the importance of using research evidence to improve policing practices. In this clip, she highlighted the college's mission to help everyone in policing reach their full potential through leadership, standards, and performance, and covered the creation and sharing of research evidence, the implementation of evidence-based practices,
and to help keep the public safe. We do that in three ways. So we've got leadership, standards, and performance as three strong areas of focus for us. And through that, for me, again, because I'm so interested in evidence and the use of research evidence to help manage risk, to help make sure that we do what works, we thread that through. So in leadership, we make sure that the standards that we set around leadership and leadership development include using evidence and building evidence. In standards, we make sure we actually use research and underpin, so things like guidance around supervision or guidance around investigations. We build the evidence base into that. And then in terms of performance, the work we do there, we support forces to make sure we're analysing the problems well, so the performance problems that are being faced. We tease out what could tackle those problems. So we did work on homicide, for example, looking at a national picture of homicide, and we work locally with forces too. And then we use what works and discuss that with forces and think about how that can be applied locally. So under those three elements, we kind of use the research evidence across all three of those. But I think one of the things that we've concentrated a lot on is how you do those three things well. So create evidence, share it, and then use it. And that's part of our role as a What Works Centre. So we're the What Works Centre for Crime Reduction. There's a kind of government network of What Works Centres, and we do the crime reduction role in that. And we all have those three things in common. We're different in other ways, but we all create, share, and get evidence used in practice. And as I mentioned at the beginning, that's my big thing. So I was always very excited when we became a What Works Centre. And we do that in various ways. So in terms of the creation of evidence, we do create evidence ourselves. So our team has just won a cross-government award for the best piece of social research this year, which was about forensic marking in the prevention of domestic abuse. And that builds on work by a police officer called Lee Rawlinson in West Yorkshire Police. So we do stuff, but we also partner with universities and research organisations to do work, and we also encourage officers and staff to do their own work. So that's been a big kind of push over the years, because they can critique it and use it better themselves when they've done their own work. We've really seen that build over time. Great example of that, a woman called Lorna Dennison, who was a search specialist. And we helped to fund her bursary, her PhD, which was on finding bodies in water. And she's gone on to be an expert and the sort of key person in that area. She's published, and she was featured in the Office of the Police Chief Scientific Advisor's publication just recently. And she's also she acts as sort of role model for others on how you can use your own specialism and build on that and become part of building the evidence base. And in order to kind of support that more broadly, we have all sorts of resources on our website. So we've got an evaluation toolkit, and people can ask to do research surgeries with us and all sorts of things which kind of support that creation part of it. And then the middle bit, the sharing. So just making sure that all the evidence we've already got gets out there. It's kind of basic, but something that was missing before we started doing this in college. So we've got a crime reduction toolkit, which covers all of the evidence that we know so far on crime reduction, both for policing and for more widely.
Our second video of the week saw a really insightful Q&A session with Gavin Stevens, chair of NPCC. Is the job of the Chief Constable now too difficult to do? How to deal with the impact of poor police conduct, and this interesting question: could we learn from teachers?
Do you think the police could learn from teachers, where there's the Teaching Regulation Authority who are banning teachers daily but you don't hear the same about police. And some of the, from all levels, some of the things that they've done, you think, oh my God, why aren't they getting out there? So, what do you think you could learn from that? Where, you know, for example, a teacher can't even be convicted of drunk driving without losing their job. But there are coppers with speeding points that are still in the motorway unit or.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to keep some balance and get the thresholds right. I mean, I don't think any of us would put forward a position that there can't be people in policing who've made mistakes in the past, have learned from them and moved on. You know, there is an opportunity to rehabilitate. I know of plenty of colleagues who are wonderful colleagues with the sort of higher standards of integrity and behaviour now, but did things in their youth that, you know, they regret that they did. So I don't think we should be puritanical about this, but we should be clear on our standards. The one thing that I find attractive about the license to practice idea, particularly when you look in the medical world, is that in the setting of the license to practice, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if the colleagues in the room will know better than this, I think every 5 years they refresh what's in the license based on public consultation. So they get a view from the public as to what they think are important, not just in terms of professional competence, but in terms of expected behaviour and conduct, and that's reflected in the license. And I think there's great value in getting that public perspective, because when I was talking earlier about keeping pace with societal norms, it's when we get out of step, I think, that you can have real problems. And then just to the specific point about banning people, there's plenty of cops getting sacked and going on the bad register. Sadly, it's 593. Serena's given me the figure, and maybe it's just because I'm tuned into police media, but I read about plenty of those in the police media. I don't necessarily see much about teaching, but maybe that's just the different media we're consuming.
Lastly, we heard from a range of policing organisations at the recent World Policing Summit in Dubai, from the NFL to the Pacific Islands, and even the British Embassy in Dubai. Here we hear a really interesting piece from Yashasvi Yadav of Maharashtra Police on their strides to combat cybercrime.
Sort of a presentation on cybercrime, phishing attacks, and what other crimes are affecting India, and also the remediation, what kind of strategies we are having to counter this. So as you know, cybercrime is growing exponentially, and latest Forbes report suggests that it has overtaken narco trafficking as numero uno organized crime syndicate in the world, with revenues of cybercrime exceeding $6 trillion a year, more than economies of many countries in the nation, and twice the economy of India. So this is the kind of lucrative appeal of cybercrime. In India, there are about 700 million smartphones, which means a very, very powerful computer on the palms of citizens. But do we have the corresponding cyber awareness, cyber hygienic behavior guidelines available? That is the basic gap, that is the lacuna which makes cybercrime thrive. So in Maharashtra, we have now come up with a very innovative world-class project called Maharashtra Cyber Security Project, where we have brought in more than 170 tools, technologies, softwares sourced from all over the world, including Israel, UK, US, etc. The best products, then the best experts who are trained at using these products and who are very well adept in the knowledge of cybersecurity. And then the best police officers, like the police officers who are experienced, knowledgeable about this technology, all under one roof, and that makes the Maharashtra Cyber Security Project a very potent and powerful antidote to cybercrime.
Thank you for watching. Tune in next week.